Breaking right now, the Brooklyn subway shooting suspect is in police custody. 62-year-old Frank James has been arrested for setting off a smoke bomb and firing 33 rounds inside the train that injured 29. New York Police Commissioner says James was stopped on the street in Manhattan, and the arrest was made after Crime Stoppers reports. Joining me now, Trend Macro Chief Investment Officer Don Luskin. And Don, listen, I lived in Harlem in the 70s and 80s. I got to tell you, I feel like I saw felonies every single day. I tell people who are new to this city, it can get a whole lot worse. As a consequence of that, we had crushing fear every day, horrible economy. And I'm really worried because when I hear Mayor Adams blaming guns and not the people who are pulling triggers, I'm worried that we can go back there. Your thoughts?
Yeah, man, I remember the 70s and the 80s too. That was a time of extreme economic difficulty, very little upward mobility. You can understand why we had the kind of rampant criminality we had then in big cities like New York. It took Ronald Reagan and a couple decades of prosperity to turn that around. And I feel like now we've reversed that in a few short years. And worse than that, we're promoting a narrative of lawlessness based on the idea that we should defund the police, that our civilization is fundamentally corrupt, that it's a tyrannical patriarchy based on racism and imperialism. And so why not go out and loot, pillage, and steal? We got some problems, man. Civilization is enabled by a thin blue line, and it is fraying.
Yeah. You know, when I was young and growing up in Harlem, those things that you talked about, when they were articulated, you know, if you're living in a place and you don't have heat in the wintertime, you believe it, and you will, you know, there's a big chance you're going to go the wrong way in life. So I'd love to hear some more positive leadership. This is the greatest country in the world, to your point, and we don't hear from a lot of people. Whether they want to get elected or not, I think it would be the right thing to do. Let me ask you about this morning, the price that businesses are paying. Just hit a record, a month-over-month record, 11.2% year over year. Obviously, that's a lot faster than the price changes that we're seeing what consumers are paying. And yet, you know, again, we keep hearing President Biden blaming businesses, saying this is profiteering. That bothers me. I mean, obviously, they're not passing all of their costs on. They're taking a hit.
Well, let's see. Now, why would that bother you? Let's see. It would bother you because it's a lie. And it would bother you because it's covering up for the real culprit. We know why we've got the inflation we've got right now. It's because as soon as President Biden was elected last year, he went ahead and passed the largest economic stimulus bill in the history of the United States of America after the economy had already substantially recovered. So what a shock. You drop helicopters of money on consumers, and what do you know? The price of goods and services denominated in that funny money goes up for the consumers and for the businesses who have to serve the consumers. It's lose-lose. Thank you, Joe.
Hey, on that note, of what we're talking about here, I'm going to go back to the Brooklyn shooting because on a side note, Lyft and Uber jacked their prices up big time. They have this thing called surge pricing, and they took a lot of heat on social media. I guess eventually they lowered them. To me, this is an interesting area. Would you consider this an example of corporate malfeasance or corporate greed?
None of the above. This is just another blame business thing. What you have in a situation like we had yesterday, a completely tragic situation, you have a sudden shortage of transportation services. So how do you ration the transportation services that you have? Well, the best way, the most efficient way, the most fair way to ration things is by price. So in this case, it's not a question of corporate greed because it's the individual entrepreneurial driver who's going to get the extra fee. It's not the big corporate monster, Lyft and Uber anyway, but what better way, by the way, when you have a transportation shortage, to lure more drivers into the market to meet that need than to offering these big prices? Then when the drivers show up, the prices come down. What do you know? It's economics 101.
Well, I tell you what, the social media 101 got the better of it, Lyft and Uber, who apparently
once again
the price. Hey, Don, thank you very much, my friend. I love the conversations. We'll talk again soon.
It's over. One of the biggest manhunts in New It's over. One of the biggest manhunts in New York history ended today with the arrest of the suspect cops believe carried out the subway mass shooting that caused utter terror during rush hour. While making his way to New York, the suspect filmed himself in a rented van, clearly full of anger. Les Trent begins our coverage.
They got him. The madman who cops say unleashed havoc on a New York subway train was captured today wandering around Manhattan. The NYPD says tips started pouring in after they released a wanted poster for the suspect, Frank James. A civilian spotted him walking down Canal Street in Lower Manhattan. Another witness saw him at this McDonald's. Police responded to the report that the suspect was inside this McDonald's, but when they got here, he was not inside. They did, however, find him just a few blocks away, and you will not believe what he was doing. Witnesses say the man who allegedly wreaked so much havoc on this city was simply standing right here, charging his phone.
I see the guy. We catch the guy, man.
The arrest at 1:42 p.m. was captured on video by multiple bystanders.
You ought to die. You ought to shit with
James is 62 years old, a drifter who posts angry videos on YouTube under the moniker Prophet of Truth.
I am driving.
A day-by-day timeline is emerging from the video diary. Last month, he was living in Milwaukee when he suddenly packed up and drove to Philadelphia.
Heading back into the danger zone, so to speak. You know, it was triggering a lot of negative thoughts, of course.
From Philadelphia, cops say he rented a U-Haul van and drove to New York. That's the van crossing the Verrazano Bridge in Brooklyn the morning of the subway attack. In this exclusive surveillance video obtained by WCBS, we see a man who looks like Frank James, disguised as a construction worker, walking to the subway to allegedly carry out the bloody assault. Notice he's carrying a tote and wheeling around a bag that police say contained a hatchet, 2 gas canisters, a 9mm handgun with 3 extended magazines. Also, a stash of fireworks that he bought in Wisconsin. And here's the receipt. He paid $14.99 for a 6-pack of smoke bombs.
He was talking to himself the whole time.
Subway passenger Fachim Jalaschi says he was sitting across from the suspect on the N train when the attack commenced.
He was just shooting boom, boom, boom. I was like, whoa, this guy's crazy.
He says the man pointed the gun at him and fired twice, leaving bullet holes in his pants. Only by some miracle was he not hit.
All I gotta say, I'm lucky to live. That's all I'm gonna say. I got really lucky.
Cops say James fired 33 times into the subway car, hitting 10 people. The subway station where the mayhem took place is open today, and as you can see, the platform has been scrubbed clean of blood. The subway attack has not helped New York City's battered image, as the city fights rising crime and the pandemic. Real Housewives of New York's Bethany Frankel says she's fed up with the crime.
New York City is not safe.
You've got to take the handcuffs off the police, flood the system, do stop and frisk, and return some civility to the subway system. That's our veins and arteries. If you don't, Sean, New York City will never recover.
But today, there is relief in the city as the suspect in Tuesday's rush hour nightmare is apprehended.
My fellow New Yorkers, we got it. We got it.
All praise to Yahweh Shem Yashah Bashem Rakakadash. The honors to the elders and apostles for the edification and knowledge. The water Yahweh Shem Yashah for putting the spirit of the elders and apostles to become edified regarding this truth and knowledge, knowing this truth and knowledge. Call Yahweh Shem Yashah Bashem Rakakadash. Give all praise Yahweh Shem Yashah Bashem Rakakadash. I was talking about the subway shooting relating to Inside Edition, giving diaries of the background of the shooter, the suspect shooter. And the other one was Fox News business report relating to talking a little bit the business aspect of that inflation and correlating it with the shooting and different things. So Fox News and Fox Business and Inside Edition. person who takes part of a supposed conspiracy to manipulate public opinion by pretending to be a victim or of an event such as a bombing mass shooting or natural disaster. The claim of survivor of a mass shooting or crisis actors is a common conspiracy theory. Crisis actors are claimed in a context to play a part of the bystander or witness or emergency response personnel, and with the aid of stage makeup, wounded victims of actors, advocates of conspiracy theory, including Alex Jones and outlets such as the True Pundit. Demonization. Portrayal of something as wicked and threatening. Meaning of demonization is to portray someone or something as evil or worthy of contempt or blame. Vilify. Luke 8:17. For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be made known and come abroad. Number 18. Take heed therefore how ye hear, for whoever have, to him shall be given, and whomever have not, for him shall be taken, even that which he seemeth to have. So whoever have will be taken, whoever is given, whoever have will be taken, man. But go back to that previous verse. Now, take heed, it means take warning, man. Let's go back to number 17, because that makes a point. For nothing secret that shall not be made manifest. So anything that's hidden and secret is going to be eventually made known in some way or some form or some fashion. Neither anything hid shall not be known or come abroad. So these things are going to be exposed, the secrets, things that are hidden in the dark, or things that are masked as a guise of certain things. Eventually they're going to be revealed in certain matters, man. Scripture talks about they fall upon their tongue. Basically, they reveal pretty much in the manner of how they speak and what they say, without it directly, indirectly. I'll get that scripture, I'll look for it. But so things that are secret are going to be made known, man. Take heed therefore how ye hear things. For whoever have, to him it shall be given. So who have, it will be given. And whosoever have not, from him shall be taken. And even that which he seemeth to have. Go to Sirach 5:15. It's one of my favorite scriptures. I like this one. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or small. So be not ignorant of anything in great matters or small. Don't underestimate the small details of certain things, because sometimes they give indication, they give clue. of certain things, man. Certain involving certain specifics, man. So be not ignorant of those things in a great matter or small, man. Especially in the climax of society that we in today, man. Because most people overlook the small matters, man, because it's small, man. So it's insignificant, it means nothing, man. But sometimes that small matters actually are big clues, man, of certain, regarding in certain circumstances, especially. All right, let's go to unless Satan shall get advantage of us. That's the carnal counterpart on earth. For we are not ignorant of his devices. Now, his devices relates to what? His schemes, his plans, his ploys, his plots, his endeavors, man. For the thoughts of his wicked imagination. Imagination is the things he desires to do through thought and planning, through counsel, through scheming, man. And ultimately implementation, man. Now, this word I'm not going to say for obvious reason because, but some would label this the DT, man. So, Shalakia. So some will label it the DT without labeling the DT, and that, you know what that is, because of the action of certain things that was regarding this situation, man. So it has a lot of it just don't it doesn't sound like there's a lot of holes in it, man. First of all, let me look up another word. A person who is blamed for wrongdoings, mistakes, or faults of others, especially in reason of expediency. Whipping boy, victim, Aunt Sally, goat, the fall guy. It's too calculated for one person to implement all these things, man. It looks too it doesn't optically look correct, man, in a matter of speaking, man. But some people can be used as a scapegoat to ultimately conceal ones who are actually really involved, maybe, in certain matters, man, on a higher level, man. So that scapegoat could be, for example, hypothetically, we say, maybe this guy. So let's read scapegoat again. A person who is blamed for wrongdoings or mistakes or faults of others, especially for reason and expediency. Let's go to, see, there's another word I wanted. I think that makes the point. This is something short relating to those two videos, just to bring out a point of it. You know what I mean? From the optics, it looks too actorish, in a matter of speaking. But, you know, some people really were injured in the situation, but it's the mask and the guys behind the situation, man, that doesn't look correct, man. You know. That being said, this is Brother Zaya. I hope it helps in some way, whoever listens. I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bashim Yashah, Bashim Rakakadah, Shalom. Thanks.